Hello, everyone, and welcome to LFC Transfer Room. This is a match review for a game that's coming up tomorrow. I forget what the game is, but I remember that we've definitely conquered all of Europe. I believe we're never going to stop from what's that location? Is it Paris?
Paris.
Down to Turkey. We've what's the next line, Drew?
We won the effing lot.
I wanted to try and get Drew to swear. Jay, how are you feeling? You excited or are you nervous? Where are you at in the sort of pre-build up?
Do you know what? I've been sound all week, but starting to feel the nerves a bit today now, with it being so close. Not that I think we're going to lose, it's just obviously the size of the game and how much it means to win it. So just normal nerves.
Damon, where are you watching the game tomorrow?
At home with a few bevies. I'm quite nervous actually now. I didn't think I would be, but with the injury news today, I think that's boosted us up a little bit. With the Thiago and Fabinho being fit, that's exactly what we need in it.
Yeah, and Drew, what time are you having to get up for this one? Is it? It's eight in the evening, so it'll be a nice one for you, won't it? You can definitely get to the pub for this.
A nice noon kickoff, which suits me fine. The pub I'm going to actually is pretty split. I heard that will be actually 60% like Real Madrid fans, 40% Liverpool. So excited to hear the Spanish cheers just die out 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested to see what chance they've got in America. You know, the Spanish chance. It's like, well, everyone in America's 1/17th Spanish or something.
Now we got a lot of Latino people in Los Angeles, so a lot of my friends who are coming are going to support Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, they might just be United fans, to be fair. There's a lot of United fans and Everton fans supporting Madrid. Now, Damon, in Klopp's press conference, he said that he thought Real Madrid were the favourites. Do you think he can really get away with saying that, considering the Spanish media refer to Real Madrid as lucky? Or is he just doing a masterclass?
He's just Jurgen Klopp, innit? He knows for a fact they're not favourites. He knows for a fact that deep down he's not favourites. We've got the better team. We've got the better squad. Yeah, the only thing that really worries me about Real Madrid is the fact that they've got the European heritage just like we have, and they've somehow won these games that they've beaten. They've beaten Chelsea, beaten City, and PSG, and they didn't look like winning any of them at any point. At some point, but we've got that as well, so it sort of balances it out a little bit. I think it will be down to whoever's the best on the night, and I trust these boys to get over the line.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, what really freaks me out a little bit is Liverpool never make a final easy, do they? They always do it the hardest possible way. And Real Madrid come strong at the end, don't they?
Yeah, we never make a game easy, to be fair, mate. Never mind the final. Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing about Madrid. I know, for me, we are favourites, but Chelsea and City were, and I don't know how either of them didn't beat them. The mad thing is, in both of them games, Real Madrid decided to turn up for 10 or 15 minutes, and them 10 and 15 minutes got them through both times. So whether we're favourites or not, in people's opinion, it's still a proper dangerous game, mate. And every single player in that squad that they've got has experienced this 4 or 5 times. So it all counts for it, to be honest. So yeah, making myself nervous now talking.
And Drew, I guess we've got to think, haven't we? You know, who's the big danger man? Everyone says Benzema because, you know, he's scored that many goals. But in the last match against City, we saw Modric burn off De Bruyne for pace. And Modric is on for his 5th European Cup. Who's the one that we really need to be nervous about? Who's the one that we need to control in this game?
I think probably Vinicius. I think that Van Dijk will deal with Benzema really well. Kanate as on side of him. But I think if Vinicius can get behind Trent, that could cause a lot of problems. But, you know, it's all something that we know. So Klopp's going to know and Trent's going to know. And one thing I really love about Trent is when a player does him, he normally takes it to heart and just does everything he can to show next time around that he's the better man. So I think we're set up well to defend Madrid's attacks, and I'm curious to see if they'll get that many. The problem is that they're very clinical with the opportunities they get with the guys like Benzema. So we have to be at our best, but I expect nothing less for this match.
And I think, yeah, I mean, you highlight Vinicius, and both Jay and Damon were nodding along and stuff like that. Trent obviously comes forward, he comes into the centre, so the right centre-back for Liverpool is going to be absolutely critical. Damon, for you, is it Konate or is it Matip? You know, is it a foot race against Vinicius or is it a brain race with someone like Matip?
I think it's Matip because of the experience. Matip's been there. He's been there for the last few years now, so he knows how to play sort of big games. Konate probably does have the pace, but I think with Trent being out of position most of the time, if we're attacking most of the game, I think we're just expecting it to be spacey anyway. So I think the brains of Matip will have to sort of cover about more than Konate. I think the pace of Benzema isn't too worrying. I think Van Dijk and Matip can deal with him, but I think it is a brain game in terms of Vinicius. That's the only way to beat him. Not going to beat him with pace. It's putting Konate on him, and he's going to be outpaced by him as well.
So if we go with Matip, Jay, I mean, I'm going to assume you agree with that. This is one where you play Henderson as right centre mid, just for that little bit of extra cover, isn't it? It's not a Keita, Thiago midfield for you, or do you think we go for it and sort of pin them back?
No, I wouldn't play Keita in this game, to be honest. That would be my midfield for Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago. And I agree with Damon, everything he said, to be honest. With Matip, I think it's more a mental game than a pace game against Vinicius. He's fast, but he's a really good dribbler. And I think Konate, I'm not saying Konate isn't class because he is, but I feel like Vinicius would be more likely to catch Konate out than he would be Matip. I just think Matip's composure's crazy for a centre half. He doesn't ever look out of place or like he's chasing it. So yeah, I'd go for Matip as well, to be honest. I agree with Day.
And Matip kind of reminds me of a daddy longlegs because his foot just when someone's dribbling at him, his foot just seems to get where the ball is out of nowhere, and you don't expect it. Drew, he's not getting the credit he deserves. You know, people were doing combined 11s, and everyone just got, we'll throw Matip out of the conversation. But his stats are better than Militao. His stats are probably better than David Alaba. I haven't done a full comparison. Why is no one giving Matip the credit that he deserves? Because in a full season, he has been sensational, hasn't he?
Definitely. I think he just goes under the under the lights because that's the way he plays. He doesn't really do anything spectacular. I think it goes on to in terms of showy. Like he just seems to handle it really well. He uses his body and his position really well to stop the threats before they happen. He actually contributes to the goals at least a few times in the season. So I think it's more his personality. He's very mellow. He's not that kind of flashy Instagram star. So I don't think he'd be on many people's radars who don't watch Liverpool regularly. So, but he definitely deserves a lot more credit than he gets. And I think that Liverpool's entire back line beats Madrid's. So I think that's where we get them, is that their defense, as shown in previous games, every single team has gotten at their defense, and I expect us to do so as well.
So we all agree on the back four: Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, obviously Alisson in goal. Midfield, Jay, you said Fabinho, Thiago, and Henderson. Yep. Damon, is that your midfield as well?
Yeah, definitely, exactly the same. It's the experience. These experienced players are so vital in games like this, especially against Real Madrid side's got Modric and Casemiro. I mean, they're experienced enough. We need to win that midfield battle, and that's what cost City in the end. The midfield battle just killed them. And when Camavinga came on, it was just they ran the game. Madrid when Camavinga came on. With the only way we're going to run the game is if we have that experience in midfield where Fabinho and Henderson work the defensive work, and then Thiago just controls the game. I think if we were going to win tomorrow, those three starting is so vital. I can't see it being anywhere but I can't see Klopp playing here for tomorrow. I can't see him taking a risk.
No
Ox back in the starting lineup
now. Sorry, mate. Me Mike was laughing there.
He's been in squad, has he, for the last few months?
No. And then I guess it comes to the front three that you play.
Yeah.
Jay, who's your starting three?
Diaz, Mane, Salah. I think Mane's been incredible in the false nine position now. Pains me to say it actually, but I do think he's going from everything I've read today. But hopefully, if it is his last game, it's one to remember, and he can either get us the winner or just have a great game when we win it. But yeah, they'd be my front three. I think Diaz is just class, isn't he, since he's been here? Salah's a no-brainer on the right side. He's our only left footer. And then, like I say, you wouldn't drop Mane, the form he's been in since he's played in the middle.
Yeah, and Drew, as you were probably sleeping when Klopp did his press conference, when asked about Mane, he said, "I've been in this situation before where players have been linked to leaving and Bayern Munich have been involved and stuff like that. It doesn't change how they approach the game." But he was talking very much in a tense of a player that's leaving as opposed to these are just stupid rumours. Like the tone of the conversation seemed to imply to me, listening to it anyway, that Mane could be his last game for us. And obviously giving you the news, hopefully for the first time, well, hopefully not for the first time. What do you think if this is Mane's swan song? There's no better way to go out, is there?
Yeah, he's got to show up and have a big game. And I'm reminded of the time he showed up at the Allianz Arena against Bayern, a few years ago. And yeah, that's where I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's where he's going to turn off, yeah.
That's true. But was it Alaba in Madrid's defense? I'm expecting Mane to have as much success as he did a few years back tomorrow. But I think it's about time. I think that Carragher said earlier on Sky Sports early in the year that normally the front three for any team doesn't last as long as they have for Liverpool, and we're already seeing I think Jota last year started creeping in, but Diaz has absolutely blasted it apart. Firmino's been on the bench, pretty much for the entire second half of the season. I know he's had injuries, but it's getting to that point where you can't not perform. And I don't think Mane's had the season where, he's going to be the future of Liverpool. So it's sad to see the end of a brilliant era, but I think the timing is right for one of the front three to go. And if Mane, feels it's his time, then it is his time. And hopefully we can get MADRID to replace him or something like that in the deal. But wishing him all the best.
I'm sure rumours will be thick and fast, but it's like you said, he's going to clear it up tomorrow, isn't he, Damon? But it's just no smoke without fire in this, isn't it? So if this is Mane's last game, let's make it the biggest trophy that he can get, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with everyone else. I mean, it looks like he has gone, done it. I mean, the words that come out today, the way he's speaking now, it's sort of like a goodbye speech in a way. The way it sounds a bit not teary, but a bit down that he is leaving. But Mane was the first signing, one of the first really Klopp signing for this era, and I think it's about time now we really start looking to the next era for Klopp. It's still a Klopp era, but in terms of his new team, because Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho. I mean, Henderson, Thiago getting old. Firmino's moving on. Mane looks like he's moving on. Salah's getting a bit older. The next bunch of players now is needed this summer. I think I do, especially a big part of it. I mean, the midfield, definitely two midfielders, and if Mane does go, definitely a replacement for the future, and definitely next 5 years. That's what we need to be looking at now. It is sad because those front three, Mane, Firmino, and Salah, I mean, the joy they've given us is unbelievable. Like I said, Mane at the start of this Klopp era, and the way he's been sums up the Jurgen Klopp era, and he's a big part of what we've become, really. And it is sad, but let's hope we can win him a Champions League before he goes, if he does.
And Jay, the way Real Madrid plays, very compact. It's going to be pretty much similar to Spurs, I anticipate, where they just sit back and then try and get Vinicius and Benzema to smash us on the break. The way they change the game is their subs, isn't it? Camavinga comes on, Rodrigo comes on, and then suddenly there's this massive injection of pace. What Liverpool, what players from the Liverpool bench, based on the starting 11 we've gone through, would you bring on to have that type of impact should we need it?
It's a good question, because one of the people you didn't mention there, who I think is arguably the most influential, is Valverde. That lad runs. And I mean, he runs. I don't think he walks on the pitch. Even when it's a throw in, he just keeps going somewhere else. Honestly, that lad runs everywhere. And I think when it comes to that stage of the game, when people are leggy and you're bringing players on, like you've said, Rodrigo, full of pace, Valverde just doesn't stop running. It's hard to see who you bring on to combat that from the bench, because Milner gives away too many silly fouls. I know he'd be fit, but he does give away a lot of fouls, which, you know, you don't want to be doing in the last 10 minutes of a game. Keita's not the quickest. He's good at winning the ball back, but he's not fast. He's not really strong on the ball either. So to combat that as such, I don't think there's a particular player. It might be a tactical tweak, rather than a certain individual that could come on and change it, because I don't think we actually have that player on the bench for that type of thing. It's mostly Jones, Elliott, more attacking thinking players rather than people who defend. So unless you went for a double pivot, potentially in a change, but I don't think there's a particular player that you go, he'll combat what they've brought on, if you get what I mean.
Do you think there's a shout for bringing on Gomez and pushing Trent up?
Yeah, potentially. That's what I mean. I think it would be more a tactical change rather than let's bring Milner on to combat Valverde and Rodrigo. I think it would be a tactical tweak, like you've just said. Even if you ended up with 3 centre-halves and add 2 wing-backs, it's not something we do, but it just tightens up the defence a little bit more. Either that or a double pivot in the middle.
It's very rare, isn't it, that Liverpool change their tactics to nullify another team's options. What we tend to do, Drew, is just double down on our hands, go full out bluff, and go, if you're going to bring on pace, we're just going to counter attack you back at pace. And then when you look at Liverpool's bench, you've got Jota on our bench at this moment in time. You've got Milner, we've got Curtis Jones, we've got Harvey Elliott. We'll have Konate should we need to sort of strengthen up any pace at the back. I feel that Jota's getting a rough ride since Diaz has come in. No one's singing his praises anymore. They're saying, "Oh, bench him. He's not this," but he's the 5th best XG goal scorer in world football at the moment.
He's class, mate.
Yeah, there's an argument that Jota should start because Jota's been performing incredibly well, but Matty will always say his impact from the bench is second to none. Is that the sort of thing we bring on just to kill off the game? Because sadly, the final killer, Divock Origi, will not be playing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that Divock doesn't get his final bow. But I'm always in a mix because I think that Diaz, bringing him off the bench, he's absolutely electric and he changes the game and he offers something, that nobody on the team really has done so as consistently as Diaz does. But I don't think you can bench him in a game like this. I expect us to actually finally win a final in normal time. And I think Diaz will play a big part in that. But Jota, yeah, I think he's getting the short end of the stick, but I don't think any Liverpool fan can say he hasn't been phenomenal for us this year. He carried us in that January window when Mane, Salah, and Keita were out in the AFCON, and he's the amount of goals he's had compared to the minutes that he's played is absolutely unbelievable. So I think that also speaks to his personality, that if he gets minutes, like, he'll want to score. He's not some guy who's expecting someone else to do the job, or he'll pass off the responsibility. He wants the goals. So I think having someone like that on the bench is amazing, considering when you look at the bench for our Champions League final against Madrid last time we faced them.
If you are new to the channel or you've just stumbled across us whilst we're live, please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We do videos, watch-alongs, player versus player comparisons. We do a whole range of things to help you enjoy this journey that Liverpool are on at the moment. We're on the road to 5k subs, so please, if you could join us, that'd be great. We'd love to have you along for the ride. Damon, the match. How do you think it's going to go? What are you anticipating? You're lying in bed dreaming about it. How do you think the games are going to go?
I've been dreaming about it. Then it's a 6-0 win, in it. But then I wake up to like a nightmare or something, like Benzema flooring Van Dijk or something. But yeah, I do think we'll win. I don't think it'd be as easy as some people are making out, and I don't think it'd be as hard as some people are making out. I think it'd be like a 2-0 win. Maybe they might sneak one if they get lucky, but yeah, 2-0 win.
Jay, for you, what score do you think the game's going to be?
Do you know what? I'm going to go for a mad one because that's what we do in finals. I'm going to go 3-2 Liverpool.
At least it's not an Alaves 5-4. That was a horrific one.
Fuck that, no. Good job I couldn't drink then. I was a kid, so probably still wouldn't be home.
Bottle of White Lightning, anyway.
Shandy.
Drew, what's your score prediction for the match?
I'll split the difference. I'll go 3-1 Liverpool.
So everyone's going for a normal time win. First goal scorer, do we think Salah's finally going to get his revenge in a final? I heard a shocking stat that he's played in 13 finals and not scored. I don't know if that's true. I just heard it on the drive back here.
Scored in the Champions League final, right? Penalty.
Yeah.
Was it
against Tottenham?
Yeah.
Salah and Origi.
Yeah.
There we go. So
ring that station, Jay.
I will ring a certain sports station and tell them they're wrong. It was Andy Goldstein who literally hates Liverpool and Salah.
My United fan, it just doesn't know about football, does it? So let's be honest.
Sometimes they do stuff like that though to trigger Reds, because if thousands of us comment saying, "Hang on, you divvy, it was this," he's still getting the attention he wants. So,
but I will say Salah's struggled in a couple of finals, hasn't he? Like he went off in the FA Cup final, didn't make any impact. He struggled for the second half of the season, and I think he's talked a lot about this Champions League final, like a lot. So he's really got to turn up, hasn't he, Damon? He can't just drift in and out of the game. He's going to have to do something special. I
think he would have got away with it a little bit if we won and they didn't play well and he didn't talk. It's just the talking. If you're going to talk like this and say, I'm waiting for the revenge, and he hasn't been playing for the last few months, it's like he's waiting for this match. So you better show up. There's no excuses around it. I hope he shows up, and you know what? If we win, I don't even care who shows up. To be honest, I don't even care if clock comes on for banging header at last minute. Someone get a winner. But it would be nice to see Salah show up and really put his words where his mouth is and turn it into action. But then again, I want him to stay as well. So it'd be just nice to get a goal and lift up his shirt and say 2-year contract.
How do you feel about, Drew, these players starting to talk more and more in the media? Everyone's normally media trained and quite generic in the answers. The course, Steven Gerrard classic. But Salah's been quite outspoken for how Liverpool are about this. How do you feel about Liverpool players being more outspoken about what they want in games?
I think you just got to back it up if you talk. Like, it's one of those things. I'm one who thinks that confidence doesn't need words. I think cockiness tends to be the players who talk a big game and then show up maybe a handful of games throughout the season. But it's interesting because Mo tends to be that guy who shies away from the interviews and doesn't, give outside the standard response. So it's really interesting to see him come out with the interview talking about revenge. I know he's shied away from it a bit since, but I don't think it has as much play for Salah. I think whether or not he's talking won't influence his game. I think he will show up. Whether or not that's due to his wanting revenge on Madrid or just being up for a Champions League final, whatever gets you there and gets you to have your best performance, that's fine with me. But personally, I'd rather the talking be done on the pitch, but who knows?
Now, Jay, I'm going to give you this question from Helio, which is Liverpool haven't actually beat Man City, Chelsea, or Tottenham in a straight game this season. Needed pens to beat Chelsea in both finals. Why is this? Have Liverpool lost a step in important games?
I'm glad you put that to me because I was just reading it. No, we have beat City. We beat them in the FA Cup. City also didn't beat us in the league and neither did Chelsea. So you could argue the same thing to them. Plus, we're in the final of every competition there now. So, no, I don't think that's got any legs to it.
I think in these types of games, though, isn't it? There's so much pressure that you can't make a mistake. Sometimes things nullify on each other. Like the game against Chelsea, Damon, it was just 2 finals against Chelsea. It was just no one wanted to make a mistake, so no one took a risk.
Well, that's what it is. That's why it's been against City as well. Just no one doesn't want to lose. I mean, the last time we played City, we could, if we lost that, we'd lost the league. So I don't think Jurgen Klopp really went for it. But then we saw a different Jurgen Klopp in the semi-final cup here. I mean, he went for it that first half. If he went for it that in the league, I think we would have won the league. I really believe that. We just, I think he was scared against City losing and being out the title. He'd rather be in the draw and be in the title and take it to the last game. But sometimes you just got to go for it. I mean, like if Liverpool go for it tomorrow, and we get that mentality that we had in the semi-final at FA Cup, I mean, we could blow Madrid out of water like we did City. And that's exactly what we need to be doing. And really scaring them because, like I said, I've said before, they're not used to this sort of football. Get in the faces, get an early goal, and they're going to be shocked.
Bear in mind, boys, them games against Chelsea, Kovacic scored an absolute freak of a goal. The volley. You can hit that 1,000 times, that won't go in. 999 times, that was a freak goal. The 2 games against City, De Bruyne scored 2 deflected goals, both of them. And they weren't little deflections, the big deflections. Now, that might sound like you're being bitter towards it, but they have big impacts on results. So that Kovacic goal is a freak goal. So arguably without that, you win the game. 2 games against City, De Bruyne scores 2 massively deflected goals in both games. So
Kane, red card.
There you go. So they're fine margins, you know what I mean?
Tottenham as well. Tottenham, we got robbed against Tottenham, didn't we? Cage should have got a red. Jota should have got, didn't we?
And Jota pen, yeah, there you go.
And Alisson screwed up on the Son goal.
Well done, Helio. You've really got it going. More questions.
That's true, innit? You know what I mean? They're very fine margins, them things, and you know that is the difference between winning the league these days. Is just them little fine details. Years ago, people would win the league by 12 points. Now it's a point. Do you know what I mean? That's how tight and important it is.
Well, our total would have won us the league in every other major European league.
Exactly.
I think it was only, Celtic got the same number of points as Man City. I think they got 93 and we got 92. So we wouldn't have won the SPL. Oh, well. But what I want to see, Drew, is if you think to the Tottenham game, as much as we lost it, that first half, we pressed like I've never seen before. And if we press like that against Modric and Kris, even though they've got a yard in their head, there is not a chance that they could deal with that level of pressure because I have never seen pressing like it. Do you think we go all out and attack, or do you think it's a final, it's going to be a little bit cagey to start with, get the feel for each other and then attack?
I think we'll set up in phases. I think we will come out attacking for the first, 10 to 15 minutes, and then maybe, see what counterpunch Real Madrid has. I don't think it's going to be all blitz all game, but I think Klopp's going to pick certain moments to hit Madrid and hit them hard. And especially, I think Damon said, if we get a goal in the first 10, 15 minutes, that will completely, knock Real Madrid off their feet, and they're going to be scrambling to get back on. And then we just have the counter to beat them with. I think that Diaz and Salah are going to be key for counters and for getting at Madrid's defense. And I think we have all the right tools in attack to hurt them and hurt them early.
Well, this has been LFC Transfer Room pre-Real Madrid match. Damon's score predictions 2-1 to Liverpool within 90 minutes. Drew's 3-1 to Liverpool within 90 minutes. Jay is going for a 3-2 within 90 minutes. We believe Salah will back up his statements and actually have a performance. and we think that we are going to take the European Cup and do a brilliant cup parade with 3 cups. Number 7, second best of all time. I think it's joint second best of all time with AC, isn't it? If we get 7.
Yeah.
This has been LFC Transfer Room. This is the build-up. Tomorrow is the big one. Make sure you watch it. Louis will be along with the watch along if you need someone to make you feel better. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.